What's up, y'all? It's Julian Gordon from the Multifamily Movement, aka your property brother, aka Mr. Multifamily, and I want to address this question about whether or not you should put your investment property into an LLC. The long-term answer is yes. That's the long-term answer, okay? The long-term answer is yes. In the long term, when you're thinking about your generational wealth and your wealth strategy, you want to own nothing but control everything, meaning that your name isn't actually associated with any of the assets that you actually have, but you actually control all of the assets that you have, okay? So that's the long-term strategy. The short-term strategy is no, you do not want to put your property in an LLC because it just creates more complication and confusion and stops people from moving forward. Now, just think about this. I can actually go form an LLC in probably 60 minutes. I can go register a new company with the state of Delaware, and then I can go get an EIN number through the IRS in literally less than an hour. So if you were a bank and somebody came to you and said, can I finance this property through my LLC, which was just created 1 hour ago, would you give that entity $300,000 for a mortgage? No, you wouldn't, because it has no track record and no history. A lot of people don't have business credit, so therefore it's going to be hard to get financing for a property under an LLC. Now you're like, okay, Julian, I'll just buy it in my personal name and then I'll transfer it into an LLC after the sale. Well, you can try to do that, but in your mortgage, there is a clause called the due on sale clause. And the due on sale clause means that if you try to go transfer the property from your name to your LLC, your lender hasn't actually approved of that, right? Your lender lent to you based on your credit and based on your income, not the LLC. And so there's a due on sale clause, meaning that that lender can call the entire note due if they discover that you transferred it to an LLC without getting their approval, okay? So that's the first major issue. You don't want to get caught up with your pants down because you were trying to be slick and have this back end strategy. The other thing is that if you were trying to get financed through an LLC, they will actually charge you more interest. You might have to pay an additional point or two in interest if you try to get financed through an LLC. Then you're also going to have to pay your accountant to run those financials, right, every single year. And then you're going to have to pay your LLC registration fees and the annual fees for having this LLC or this entity. So when you're moving towards acquiring your first property, you do not need an LLC yet. Long term, yes. You want to have an LLC, you want to protect yourself in that way. A lot of people want to get in an LLC to protect themselves, but all you have to do is get the right amount of insurance under your own name. Okay, yes, I've had an insurance claim for one of my properties. A tenant had a situation where they slipped and fell. But guess what? They didn't come after my assets. My insurance coverage was more than enough to make sure that they got taken care of. And I believe that she should have gotten taken care of. She fell and hurt herself, and that's why I had insurance. So don't complicate this process. The biggest thing you need to focus on right now is financing, finding, and finalizing a multifamily deal. Don't worry about creating these other structures and entities. Just use your own credit, use your own income for at least this first property. And then as you get cash flowing, then you can consider whether or not to make your next investment in the form of an LLC or start moving your portfolio into your LLC. Okay? So again, this is Julian Gordon from the Multifamily Movement. I actually have a webinar on how to do all of this coming up. Okay? So you can go to multifamilymasterplan.com, where I'll teach you how to finance, find, and finalize multifamily real estate deals. But again, do not confuse yourself. Do not overcomplicate things. Just stay focused on financing, finding, and finalizing your first multifamily deal. You don't have to go create all these other structures to get started. All right? See you on the webinar. Much love. Peace.